Okay, so here is BSA barn find. This will be the next project in line. I actually want to get going on this one ahead of the CB750, which I've been working on just because it's CB750. I'm just lacking motivation, can't seem to decide how I want to go with it. But this right here will just be mostly a mechanical restoration. This bike is a BSA 1964 BSA 250 SS, which is they call it their Sports Star. As you can see, even down to the grips, everything on this bike is 100% original. The serials match, gauges, everything's in place. The bike is complete with the exception of this side cover, which I'm going to have to source one of those online. That'd be really the only cosmetic thing other than washing it that we'll do. Other than that, it's going to be a mechanical restoration. Turn this bike into just a good running survivor. Ride it, enjoy it. This will be one that we hang on to for a while. Anyway, we'll get going on this. Goal is to have it ready before the British motorcycle rally up in the North Georgia mountains. Take it up there, ride it, and show it. So that's the goal. So we'll get going on it. Probably take the CB750, and I may even sell that bike. Like I said, I'm just lacking motivation on what to do with it. Where this one, I already know the direction I want to go. So probably we'll get going on this one first. So this is the BSA. It's a 250cc 1964, what they called the Sports Star 80 or SS80. This is the one we picked up out of North Carolina, or excuse me, South Carolina. And anyway, found it there. Interesting bike. It's very clean. It's all there. It's got a lot of patina to it. And when we picked it up, we brought it back. It's been a little while now. I was trying to get the Honda 350 going. Had to put electronic ignition on it, so I've been working on that. Got that up and running. It's doing well. So we decided to set the CB750, which we're working on, aside because I really would like to get this going for a British bike show that comes up here this year. So anyway, I was able to pick this up fairly cheaply. And it's all there 100% except for, and it is aged, I'll grant you, but this side cover was missing. But all the wiring is here. Checked it. This is actually a positive ground 6-volt system, which is something new to me, but it's fairly straightforward when you think about it. So we got that, and I was able to source the nuts to hold on the side cover along with this side cover and one other. They're not perfect in terms of matching the bike. They fit correctly and they're the correct color, but they're not as faded as and have that natural fade to the paint that the bike does. So it'll be a little bit mismatched, but it's the best we're going to be able to do. And I'm keeping this bike 100% original. We're going to restore it. Basically, I'm not going, and when I say restore, not going to get rid of any of the patina or anything. We're just going to get it mechanically restored, where it's running reliably, that kind of thing, if we can do so. Condition of the engine's unknown, other than it does turn over and it sounds like it's pushing and pulling, so it sounds like it may have some compression. How much, we'll see. Hopefully we won't have to rebuild the top end or any of that. This old carburetor is probably going to need to be cleaned. But anyway, one of the first things I did was try to establish what does the bike absolutely have to have that's not currently present. Well, the obvious thing was I had to get a side cover. The nuts, these are special nuts. They actually fit in here like this and screw onto a post. And anyway, so I had to find these and the side cover to go with them. And so that was a definite had to get. Otherwise, you just end up with this open and it doesn't look good. So I needed to find that. I was able to find it and get that put together. I had to find a 6-volt battery. I haven't been able to find one that fits perfectly, but I did find two. One's too big, one's too small. Yeah, but we can make some things work just to test it and get going until we can find a better battery. So there's that. So I said I need this 6-volt battery. I need side cover and the bolts. I need a workbook so I can understand. I'm not familiar with this bike. Other than I love it, and I can figure it out, but I always like to have a shop manual for whatever bike I'm working on. Also, needed a front brake cable. I was able to source one of those, actually two. They're slightly different. Both of them are supposed to be correct for the bike, so we'll see which one works the best. But brake cable we have. All the other cables look to be okay. Got some 2050 high zinc Castrol Classic motor oil and some lead additive because we'll need that. Coming around the other side here, you can see, we'll need some rubber pieces if we so decide to change them. I may leave them just because they go with the rest of the patina on the bike. Don't know yet. So, and moving on, like I say, when it comes to the front brake cable, as you can see here, this is really frayed. I hope it shows in the camera, but it's really frayed. Comes down the side of the front fork here. But when it gets down here, you'll notice this thing is just twisted around. The wire's just twisted around. It's not actually hooked up the way it's supposed to be anymore. So I may need to do something with this and get that fixed. That's why I got the cable for it. But everything else looks to be here. Also, this Petcock clearly is not correct. The way they routed the fuel line, I'd rather route it this way, keep it off of the hot engine, bring it around the back side here, and hook in on that side. All that should be doable. This motorcycle runs a distributor outside right here. External oil tank, dry sump system. It does have a lot of oil leaks, but again, all these old British bikes leak, so I don't know how much effort I'm going to put into making it where it's leak free because you're chasing your tail with that quite a bit. But anyway, so this is kind of where it is. Oh, also, the fuel tank has fuel in it, so it's very varnished up on the inside. I've got to clean the tank, which means I have to pull it off and work towards cleaning it out. Get all that old nasty gas out of it. Also, the side stand here, these were brazed right here, and the brazing has come loose on this side stand. And I would like to be able to retain it and keep it and use the side stand. So, because the side stand is messed up that way, sorry, I may not have had that in frame, but like I say, the side stand does work, but this brazing right here, where they braze this thing on, has come loose. So this thing will move if you put weight on it. So what we're going to try and do is come up with a solution to that and try and discreetly drill and tap and put a headless set screw in right here, and then maybe either like paint it or red Loctite, something along those lines, and set that set screw in there, or may even set the set screw in there, just hit it with a quick weld to lock it, and make everything smooth, and then hit it with the black paint and clean that up, where we can have a functional side stand. You shouldn't even be able to see the repair to this once I'm done with it. You shouldn't even be able to tell it's there. But that's something I'm looking at doing because I believe that I want to keep the side stand. I want it functional. These rubbers on the foot pegs are old and beat, but I think we're just going to keep them. It adds to that character and that patina. So we're going to keep everything else the same and just keep this thing original. So do all this. We're going to have to remove the seat, gas tank, clean out the gas tank, change this plumbing right here. Like I say, we'll get everything wired up, 6-volt, make sure we're getting spark, check the compression, do all the usual things, check compression, check for spark. If you have compression and spark, make sure the fuel system's clean where we can get, good clean fuel to the engine. Make sure we're changing the oil out before we get everything going. Circulate the oil through the engine. Just all the things that you have to do to bring one back that's been sitting for an extremely long period of time. But again, bike's all there. So I think on on a certain level, this thing should be fairly easy to do. Knock on wood, right? But I think we all should be able to get this thing back up and running. That's the goal, and I'll be bringing you guys along for the ride. Enjoy the video. All right, first thing we have to do is get this fuel tank off. It's absolutely disgusting inside, so first things first, that's what I'm going to work towards. I'm going to leave this little petcock here and disconnect on the downside of this petcock. Idea being, use the petcock to keep all that nastiness inside this thing. Just work it, this whole fuel line off of here, if we can. Hopefully we can. It's not cooperating a lot, but we thought that might happen. Let's get a screwdriver. See if we can get this fuel line to let go. Everything on this bike has been here for quite some time. Guy I bought the bike from had it in he had like a garage that he was using for a man cave that he had a pool table in. He bought the bike, he said, because he liked the way it matched the red felt on his pool table. So, the bike is basically, I don't know when the last time it ran was. It's been a long time. It's got a New York registration, or it had one before I bought it. I've had it changed over to my name, but anyway, it's been around for quite a while, and really need to get it. This thing's had fuel and oil just sitting in it. I mean, we all know how bad that is, but it's just got to get it cleaned up, get this fuel tank off. All right, well, it looks like this thing's gonna make me struggle, so I'm gonna pause the video, let me get ahead on that, and then we'll bring you guys back. All right, so we got the fuel line loose, just stiff as a board. Actually had to cut the ends lengthwise to allow them to move enough to get over the nipple part of this half-ass petcock that's on here, along with the input to the float bowl chamber. Anyway, but yeah, this is hard as a rock. So, but we got it off. So now we have the petcock holding the remaining fuel in here, which, oh, by the way, it smells absolutely horrific. I can't emphasize just how bad it smells. But anyway, so next, these old British bikes, we use a bolt hold down the tank in the middle here that has a rubber plug over it. So we got to pull this rubber plug, and then there's two mounting points over here on the side we got to get off of. But anyway, so we'll do that. See if we can get this tank off of here. All right. I had this thing out before. Shouldn't be too difficult. I'll just pop it out. And it's just your basic rubber plug. Plugs in right here. There's a nut in there that we will take loose and pull this fuel tank. Not sure, but I think feels like a 13. Let's see. I may need a deep socket, and I don't have one handy. Let me find that. Let me find the right thing here. We'll bring you guys back. All right, so it looks like it's 14 or 9/16, whichever way you want to look at it, deep socket. Go ahead and get that loose. Oh my gosh, the smell of this fuel is just brutal. It is truly awful smelling. Let's see here. Try to get this off of here without scuffing anything. Looks like this seat's going to be in our way a little bit. I don't want that. So, go ahead and take the seat off. The way this seat comes off is a little strange. It's actually held on by the shock bolts. There's these two pieces that go behind, one on each side, that go in behind the shock, the nut on the shock. So we have to loosen that off to remove the seat. So let me get that going and then we'll go from there. I think it's going to be 15, looks like it, 15 millimeter. Well, did not make it easy to get to. Let's see. It's moving. Not a lot of clearance between the fender. Just going to make it a little bit of a challenge. Really doesn't want to let you in there. Let's try this other side real quick. There's a lot more clearance on this side. See how that does. I can get this side loose. Verify that we've got the correct sizing. Alright, I'm hoping this is going to be enough. Should be enough to let that side loose. Yeah, should be. If I can just get this other side loose, we'll be doing okay. It's really kind of jammed in there. challenges you on this side because it doesn't give you a good position to get purchase on the nut on the back side, because it's so close to the fender. I really don't have to remove the fender just to loosen this off. Well, let's try a little high-speed torque and see if that'll do it. So it's already loose. We're just trying to back it up quick. I think that worked. I do. Let's see if that gets this to come loose. It did. Oh. Dropped the camera there, guys. Sorry about that. Set this up over here for now. So that should get there we go. And the seat is free. Love this seat, by the way. It's all original to the bike. It's in great condition, so that's awesome. Okay, so we can get you guys set back up over here. Not real sure how to get a good shot going on. Let's see if we can make it happen though. Alright, that should have you guys fairly set up. Okay, so we were able to get the seat off. Here's the coil, the horn, ground wire. That's actually, like I say, this thing has reverse polarity. So it's 6 volt, positive ground. That's why you see the red wire going to ground. Interesting electrical system. But okay, so we've got the seat off, and now we've got the fuel tank loose. Oh, this has more fuel in it than I thought it did. It's pretty disgusting. Let's set it aside for the moment. All right. Just so we don't lose things, we're going to make sure we don't lose our nuts and bolts, etc. So we'll run that on there. Rubber stoppers can stay. All right. So now we've got that off. I want to start getting that fuel tank clean. I think in this case, I'm going to drain it. I think I have an old can. It's got some old nasty lawnmower fuel in it. I'll drain into that. And I have some old boat gas. Again, it's old gas, but it's cleaner than this. I'll put that in the tank, slosh it around a little bit, see if we can start cleaning some of that varnish loose. And then at some point, once we get to a certain degree, I think we can take some Chem Tool, put it inside there, slosh that around, and work towards getting that tank clean. But anyway, let's get that tank soaking with some fuel in it, and we'll kind of go from there. And that's going to be happening right over here. Let's see what we can do. All right, so the tank sitting here. Let's move that over. Got some room in this little lawnmower gas can. It probably doesn't smell wonderful itself. Now, let's see, I know I've got a funnel over here. It'll make it a little easier to hit the target. I'll put this Petcock right there. And we're gonna open this Petcock, or try to, and see what comes out. Oh gosh, yes. See if I can get a little wire run through that opening. Make sure it's really clear. Oh, that's disgusting. All right, so we put some Chem Dip, carburetor cleaner. We drained it out. It was going so slow, I ended up inverting the tank and just pouring it straight into this gas can that I've got some old gas in. It's absolutely the worst fuel I've ever seen in my life. But emptied it out, and we put some carburetor cleaner, Chem Dip inside the tank, sloshed it around, let it sit, slosh it around, let it sit. So we'll be doing that for a little while, see how clean we can get it. And then ultimately, once we get that out, dump it back out, and we'll see if hopefully we'll have a good tank. Because like I said, the tank looks good. I don't think it's rusted so much as it's just a lot of stinky, nasty varnish inside of it. And we'll let that carburetor cleaner work on that. And then we'll start back on this project again. I think that's where I'm going to stop, at least for today. I don't know, I may come back and mess with it a little bit more. And if I do, I'll bring it back on the camera so you guys can kind of follow along. Project's off to a start. We'll see where we get. It's going to be probably an ongoing project. Try to do something every week, a little more, because I do want to have this this bike ready for the British and the Blue Ridge show. So hopefully we'll get ready for that. Anyway, talk to you guys soon. Okay, so I'm trying to get ahead of the game a little bit, try to get a bunch of stuff done here. So I didn't want to spend all the time filming, so I cut to the chase and tried to get a few things done off camera. One was I took the AMO monoblock carb apart and made sure it was clean. Now, I'll tell you, when I took the thing apart, it was immaculate inside. It looked like somebody had just rebuilt the carburetor and never run the bike, because there was absolutely nothing in it at all. It was squeaky clean everywhere. So put that back together, got that done. So it's back on. Still working on the gas tank. Dealt with all those aspects right now. Anyway, just short update. Like I say, the carburetor looks really great. We'll see how it goes. If it ends up not running right, clearly, which it probably won't, we may have to do some adjustments and things of that nature. But with the float bowl, the float, everything just spotless inside. The slide, choke slide, all of it just perfect in there. So there's actually looked like there's a little bit of oil on the O-ring between the gasket and the carburetor and the cylinder head. So it looks like, say, like somebody had just done that and just never finished doing anything with it. So hopefully it'll be really good. I'm looking forward to it. I think this bike's going to come together. I hope so. Fingers crossed. So went ahead and pulled the spark plug. I don't know if it'll show up in the video or not. Try and bring it in here and show you, but perfect coffee colored electrode, nice clean plug, just really clean. I look down inside the cylinder here, piston's up. It's got some carbon on it, but nothing crazy. So it looks really good inside, right there. So hopefully all this again is a good sign. So far, it almost seems like somebody just parked this bike and just never did anything with it, and maybe this thing just does, I mean, fingers crossed, but maybe this thing just doesn't need a whole lot of anything. That's the hope. I'll continue to look at the few things, but that was the plug. We'll see if it has spark, and we'll go from there. Okay, another quick update. I keep thinking this thing's going to take some extra effort, somewhere along the line. But this is the amazing aspect of this bike. And like I said, it looks so original. Apparently, this bike will run. Once we get the gas tank cleaned and everything, and I'll have to save this till next weekend. I'll hang a bottle and actually put some gas to it, and we'll run this thing. But I wanted to check the electrical system, so I hooked up the battery, turned the ignition on, turned on the headlight. Headlight comes on, so we've got a headlight. I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing. So then I said, all right, well, as long as the headlight's coming on, let's check the spark. Put the spark plug in, laid it here next to the head, kicked it over by hand over here, and got not just spark, but extremely strong spark. So it's sparking. It's in a powerful spark. Good headlight, good spark. I checked the compression when I was kicking it through, holding my thumb over the hole. It's got compression. How much, I don't know. I can check that. That's one more thing to do, but carburetor's clean. By all intents and purposes, this bike should run. So I gotta admit, I'm amazed at just how far along this bike really is. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and something to just not be right. But so far, it seems like everything's really doing well. That's all there is for now. Anyway, quick update. I think I'm gonna call it here, put the plug back in. But yeah, we've got spark, we've got compression, we've got headlight. I didn't check the tail light yet. I guess I can do that. Clean carburetor. the gas tank is the really bad part of this whole bike. So we'll check the tail light here and see if that bulb's still working, and if it is, then it's just a matter of cleaning this thing up a little bit and making sure it's got good oil in it, and clean the gas tank. I think we're almost there, guys. Very excited about this bike. Very excited. So anyway, we'll continue to bring you guys along. I wish I was filming more now that I've found all this stuff and doing it on camera for this video. But again, the bike's my hobby. The video is the secondary thing I just do to kind of document. Had the channel up and running for a while, but people are angry, I'll just say. And so I quit posting videos. But figured I'd do this one just as a little different than what I usually have done. But I'm enjoying it. Hope you guys enjoy it too. If you do, like, comment, subscribe. But it's gonna be a good bike, I think. Thanks. Okay, a little time's gone by, but we'll be back on the C15 BSA today, the 1964 The project that I'm trying to get going here. Been working on this gas tank over here, getting the varnish out of the inside of this gas tank. I've had carburetor cleaner, gallon of carburetor cleaner in it for 2 weeks, approximately right now. Keep sloshing it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's slowly getting better and better and cleaner and cleaner. And it looks like there's good metal under all of it. It's just so, this bike sat for, who knows, for quite a while with gas in the tank, and nobody ever drained it. And so it was just absolutely disgusting in there. So that's an issue I continue to deal with. On the bike itself, you know, we've tested compression. It does have compression. We've tested spark. Took the carburetor off. Everything's clean with the carburetor, so everything looks good there. Didn't pull the jets, but everything just was sparkling clean in there. So imagine it's okay. I'm going to take a chance and see, and if it doesn't run right, then I'll tear into the jets and all that fun stuff. But other than that, it seems like everything works with the exception of the tail light and headlight. What they call the pilot light on this motorcycle does come on, and the brake light does work. So it appears that everything's working, that the bike has just sat for a long time. And it does, like I say, it does have spark. So that's fantastic. So I think I need to check the fluids in it, make sure we've got oil and everything, and then we may hang a bottle up and try and see if we can get it to run. And then after that, we're gonna have to spend some time cleaning the tank. Also, I need to put a new brake cable on the front here, so that needs to get done. And then let's see what else. I need to put a fix on the side stand. It's loose on the pipe and tends to twist, so I want to put a set screw in that. That's pretty much the list. I still also need to find exactly the right size battery, but the little battery I have in there right now seems to be working fine for operating everything. So purposes of getting it going, it should be fine. So that's it. You know, I think today I'm going to try and look at the fluids, make sure we've got the fluids all filled up and topped up, and then hang a bottle and see if we can get this thing to run. If it runs and does that part well, then, like I say, then we're doing brake cables and just cleaning the thing up and getting the gas tank cleaned up so we can put it together and take it for a ride. Not too much to do, but still have some things to do on it. So anyway, I need to look at a few things, and then I'll be back and hopefully take you guys along for the ride. Okay, let me start by saying that I don't know English bikes well, so if some of the stuff I'm doing makes you crazy, I apologize. But I disabled the comments so you don't have to worry about going off about it. But anyway, I've got to check the fluids here. And this I know is where you fill the crankcase. This is an observation hole. There's an observation hole on the other side for the primary chain, and this is an observation hole for this case over here. Anyway, so there's a drain over here and a level right here as well. So I need to check this and see where we're at, but at the same time, the book that I got doesn't show very well the method for doing this on the C15. I got the B25 and some of the other bigger models, but not the little C15 here. So I'm doing some of this just by trying to figure it out for myself. So bear with me if some of the stuff I do flies in the face of what do you think I ought to be doing. I apologize. Light. Wow, this motor looks dry. Looks bone dry. Let's check this over here. Size that one. It's pretty large. like somebody had been in this thing recently and then stopped what they were doing. Everything's dry. It's like they drained everything except for the fuel tank of all things. So the fuel tank is just full of junk. Everything else is empty but clean. Very strange. I don't know why they didn't drain the fuel tank, knowing full well that gas was going to turn varnish. That's interesting. We got oil. Apparently there is a ball there that is a check valve. Okay, and a spring. Not real sure what that's there to accomplish. Ball there. Spring. Interesting. Right behind the frame. The absolute worst place. Put something. Interesting. Tell you what, it's making you wonder what engineers are thinking sometimes, but I'm not an engineer, so I can't really say what they did was wrong. It just doesn't make a lot of sense today. All right, let's make sure we reasonably snugged up on this. All right. This is supposed to have 2050 in it, so let's put some in there and make sure we're good. Get a small funnel, a clean small funnel. And we've got some high zinc motor oil to use for this. Know that that's important. So following everything in the manual, make sure we're not messing anything up. The manual for it, like I say, is just not very good. It covers the other models better than it covers the C15. But we're going to do what we can, follow it as best we can. So let's see. hole small enough. That's going to spill everywhere. Let's see if we can come up with something better, and we'll bring you guys back. Took the air cleaner off. I think this thing's going to pop off if maybe we try a little brake cleaner in the carb. I think the carb is overly rich. It's flooding the thing. I think we need to do a carb rebuild, and that's what's driving that. But I think we may be able to get it pop off with some brake cleaner in the right in the throat of the carb without a gas tank hooked up. See if we can get to kick off and just run for a few seconds. Let's see what kind of luck we have. All right, so we hook the battery up. Ignition to on. So got that. Let's pull the pin on the left. Let it down where we've got room to kick. These tools out of the way. Let's see if we can get it to run for just a second. Let's get this little rubber piece off of here as well. It doesn't do much anything except get in the way. I get some new ones for it. Anyway, Kickstarter out. A little bit in the throat of the carb. Let's see what happens. Almost tried. She ran for a second. Well, that sounds pretty good, I think. That's impressive. So we know we've got a good running bike. Open this oil cap and see what's happening while all that's going on. Shot. Okay. Well, we proved that it runs. So mechanically it's correctly timed. We have compression, we have spark. So we know all that to be true. I think. Now what's left to do, I gotta order a carburetor rebuild kit. Spend a little time working on the carb and tuning it. We should be running. Pretty excited about it. Still want to verify we're getting good oil flow. I think we are. Looks like it was wet sumped, and it's pumped some up in here into the tank because I've got more than I used to have. So I think it was wet sumped for sitting all those years. Anyway, so we'll draw a little bit out of here, just take care of that. And then I think we're good. We just need to get this thing going. Anyway, we'll bring you guys back next time I work on it. I don't know how I'm going to edit this video, whether I put it into one or spread it across several videos. But anyway, we're working our way through the project, moving it along. Well, got interrupted. My brother came over for a minute, so just trying to film the work I'm doing on the bike today, trying to get this thing to run right. Thought I had a condenser issue, ordered a new condenser, tested both condensers tested out correctly, put the old condenser back in. Long story short, there was something I didn't know about these bikes, and that's, because where the key goes in is completely erased on this particular bike. It's so old. But there's an emergency position which pulls voltage apparently directly from the alternator, and so it throws a really hot spark, but it's mistimed, which made me think it was arcing badly across the points, which it was not. Got the correct condenser back in, put the key to the correct position, which is actually turned the opposite direction, and the thing fires and runs. I was able to adjust the idle, and not only adjust the idle, but the mixture screw, and get this thing running pretty well. It seems to be smoking a little bit, maybe burning a little oil. We'll see how that goes, whether that's just old or it's getting a little blow by. Maybe the rings haven't set back in yet because this thing hasn't run in forever, but it does have a little bit of smoke coming out. Maybe you dial the mixture adjustment a little bit still. Again, the carburetor's leaking. The thing does leak oil, but again, old British bike, there's going to be some of that. I'm going to try and get the carburetor leaks at least stopped. The oil leaks I'll do the best I can with. There's not a lot I can do on some of that, and maintain what I'm trying to do, which is basically a mechanical restoration. Just get the thing running so we can ride it and show it a little bit at some shows. But we seem to have it running now. It revs, comes up off of idle well, idles well, all of the above. So it's in pretty good shape right now. So I think next steps are going to be, let's get the brake cable on. We're going to do the gas tank. We've got it cleaned up. Need to put the Petcock on that, get the gas tank finished out. See if I can figure out what's wrong with the headlight circuit. So some things like that left to do. I'm gonna lower it down here and see if we can kick it off for you, so you can at least see it run, and kind of see what I'm talking about with that regard. Seems to be running well. Then we'll call it a video for today, and start working towards some of these other things. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so may get in the garage here and try and do the brake cable, some smaller things like that. Maybe put the tank back on, get the seat back on. But I may leave them off for a minute because I really want to figure out what's going on with the headlight circuit. So anyway, making some progress. So let me kick this thing off and show you guys it running. Right, let's take this thing on position in the correct direction, which we haven't been doing. Now let's fire it up real quick. Give you guys a quick view of this thing running. Let's see what she sounds like. So there it is. She's running. She seems to be running fairly well. Maybe a little more to it. The bike's running. It's up. So again, we'll look at putting the tank on, brake cables, Petcocks, getting those things done that needed to get done. Once we had it and established that we could get it running right, seems to be. So real excited about that, and we'll try and get some of this other stuff done tomorrow. It's a beautiful day outside. I think I'm gonna go ride one of my other bikes. All right, being we can't work on the brake cable, thought about it for a minute. Let's try and put the Petcock in the fuel tank and see if we can make some progress on that. So let's try that. Got our fuel tank here all cleaned out. Put some stuff out of the way. You guys can see. See it or not, but right here is what someone has put in here, which is basically they just put a nipple in this tank and didn't put an actual Petcock. So let's see if we can see what size out of there without tearing up the tank or the threads or any of that fun stuff. Pretty large. 19 maybe. That's close but a little loose. Try an 18. Bought this 6-point wrench set. It was a fantastic investment for stuff just like this. Because it keeps this thing's made out of brass. It keeps it from stripping. Go real careful here. Looks like they used plumber's putty or some such thing. Probably had a leak around the Petcock, and that's just why they set it up this way. But got some tricks to address that. But their plumber's putty's a little rough. We'll address it. See if we can make sure we're keeping the threads clean. And then see if we can walk it out a little bit. It's just getting easy. All right. So there it is. Oh, it's plumber's putty glory. Clean up around that hole a little bit. You guys, tell you what, you didn't get the opportunity to see just how bad the inside of this tank was, with not with rust, but with just varnish. So it was pretty brutal, but we got it cleaned out, spick and span inside, and then we still got good steel everywhere. I just want to make sure that this bung right here is also good and clean. So when we thread the Petcock in, we don't get any nastiness happening. Okay, let's get our Petcock and see what we can do. This is a replacement Petcock for BSA. You know, which exact one came on the C15, I'm not sure. But the one that I've got here is the, I don't know how you pronounce it, the Ewers type or Ewers type push-pull Petcock. So you can turn to lock, so you pull it out and turn and it locks it open, I guess, and then you twist it and shoot it back. So anyway, all right, not so much worried about that part of it right now. Let's get a little bit of silicone tape. Don't want to overdo it, but we're going to put a little silicone tape around these threads just to, and let's see, we're going to screw it in that way. So we want it to wrap in the opposite direction, so we'll wrap it that way. So we put a little silicone tape on that, on those threads. So good packaging. Absolutely does not want to open. Right, so a few washers here. It's like those are going to have to deal with that, which means this one should be the one that goes around the base of this Petcock. Should have done this a little differently. It's a little hard to get your washer out without damaging it, but we did it. All right, so this one should go right here over the Petcock. Like saying, we put some silicone tape on there as well. So slide that in. Original to original, so it should thread in without issue. Should. Alright, then we need a wrench of the adjustable variety, because I don't know what size this is. it's pretty snug. So that should take care of it. All right. Then this thing uses a banjo, which should work really well. Got one washer there, washer there. One is larger than the other, but not by much. Not real sure why we have a difference there. And the banjo appears to be the same on both sides. I assume that the big one goes on that side due to that. The smaller one goes on the other side because the surface on this is smaller than the surface on that. So this one will end up having to use some copper washers on this. We'll see, like a brake line uses. All right, now I'm not going to tighten that up because I still need to adjust it once it gets on the bike. But there you go, proper Petcock. This thing will probably sit something like that, with the fuel line coming off, going to the other side of the bike where the carburetor pickup is. So there's Petcock done. That was easy. And our tank's looking pretty good. We just got to get it back on the bike and get the bike going. So, be done shortly. Back around this way. Now we got the Petcock. Should I work on that headlight circuit or not? I don't think there's anything between here and the headlight bucket that would affect it. So I think we can put our tank back without any issue. So I think we're going to do that. Tell you what, taking these tank off or on the bike like this British bike has been quite frankly a slice of heaven compared to doing it on a CB350. The CB350 twin gas tank has a crossover line that feeds under the frame. It's a nightmare to deal with. So it's nice to be able to just put one on. Really, really nice. So, what I have to do is find that sweet spot. I'm gonna have to lower it down some, Phyllis, to be able to get this tank on. Out the way. it down some. Let's adjust this camera so you guys can see what's going on here. Bolt on these that comes up through the center. Tell you, that's what I get for speaking ill of Japanese bikes. It is absolutely giving me grief now. Get my light where I can see a little better. See, there it is. Should shift forward slightly. That. Now she's sitting right. All right. Let's get these bolts on here. Or this nut washer. Right, I need about if that's a 13 or a 14, I think it's a 14. Let's grab some deep sockets. Say it's 14. All right. Ratchet. Just snug it up just a hair. Spot. Put our little BSA hard rubber cover. Slip that in. There you go. Gas tank back on. Route fuel line. Finish up figuring out what's going on with the headlight circuit. Again, which is not overly critical because the brake light does work. There's only a brake light switch on the rear brake on these things, but anyway, but it does work. And the pilot light works up front. And I don't intend to ride it at night, so we can run it the way it is. But I would like to find out exactly what we think how we're going to attack this thing. So there's that. And actually probably throw the seat back on if we want to as well. Because like I said, I really don't see anything here. And the horns here, and the rectifier's here, and the coil is here. Everything else is up in the headlight. So I don't really see an advantage necessarily to having this. I want to drop this off. That's the trick with this, where the seat works. I have the bolts through. You gotta have it backed out enough. You can get them behind there, but you don't want it too much. But you lose your bolt. Alright, let's see. Put the seat on. See these tongs right here go behind the shock mount bolts. It's a little bit of a strange setup. Works well, and it's fairly easy to get the seat off, but anyway, that's how that works. We're gonna try and put the seat back on here. I want to make sure there's a rod to catch up here at the front. Make sure that we're catching the rod. This I may need to jack it up for actually, so let's do that. This inside, this inside, so it's properly hooked in. BSA C15 in all of its glory. Gas cap. Now we not do, let's run some good old fuel line. We got this beautiful baby back on the road. Get her registered this week. DMV, take care of that. Get a fuel line, get a brake line coming, get fuel line put on. We're there, guys. I mean, not much else to do. Just say front brake cable, work on that headlight circuit. Like I said, it's not critical. Side stand, getting that thing stabilized. But again, that's not critical. I don't really use side stands anyway, but I would like to keep the one on here and have it be functional. So we'll work towards that. You know, it needs a little cleanup. We'll continue to do that. They take the seat off again to do that, but I kind of want to let you guys see it. And it's getting there. It's really getting there. Really starting to come around. So won't be long now. We'll have a Survivor BSA back on the road. I think I'm gonna be doing more of this, less of the customization stuff and more restoration stuff. I built my cafe racer and have that, two of them. I've got two cafe racers, and then the Ducati is a restoration, but you know, it's done. So, and my GL is a daily rider, so I really enjoy this BSA. I want to enjoy this BSA. It'll be a bike I keep. It's only 250 cc's. A fun little bike to ride, or should be. It's going to have its own little nuances and quirks and whatnot, but that's part of what makes riding vintage bikes a good time. So we'll get her finished up eventually here. And yep, she leaks oil. She's British. So there's that. Get the bike finished up. And we'll go from there. Once we get that brake cable in, we'll do the install on that and the headlight stuff. And I'll try to video that stuff if I remember to make sure to have time to do so. I want to put this video together as a single compilation of just one build, you know, start to finish, watch the whole thing, not a whole bunch of installments. So anyway, should be done soon. Thanks, guys. All right, got the BSA C15 put back together. Did some things quickly because I just didn't have time to film everything, but basically took quite a bit of time to find a front brake cable that was the correct length, correct housing length, all that. But we ultimately did find one. All the ones that said they were for BSA C15 didn't fit. They were too long, etc. So it was a process to work my way through that. But I did find one that fits correctly, although it's not listed as a BSA C15 brake cable, interestingly enough. But it is listed as I think it was the Rough Rider Bronco version of the BSA that the brake cable that I bought is for, and it actually fits the bike correctly. So anyway, it's when you're trying to find these listings on eBay, sometimes they're not accurate. But anyway, we got the cable on there, so everything is ready. Got the oil checked, got the battery secured and hooked up. I think our carburetor's still leaking fuel. Petcock unknown at this point, but I did put it on, as you can see. That's right here. So got a proper Petcock on it. It's the push-pull variety, like came on the bike. So we got that done. Everything should be ready to go. I still need to secure the side stand, but it's not going anywhere. It's not twisting unless you put weight on it. But I'll address that at a certain point. The main thing I wanted to do today, it's a beautiful day outside. Take it out for its first ride. I'm gonna try and do a little recording of that, not leaving the subdivision, just you know, ride it around the subdivision, get the feel for the thing, make sure it's shifting properly and all those kinds of things. Like I said, carburetor still leaking gas, so I'm gonna have to address that. It's a slow leak, but it does leak. Just those little things. And of course it leaks oil, but like all these British bikes do. So got the headlight still to address. The pilot light does work, but the headlight itself won't come on for some reason. Still got to look at that. So there's still some troubleshooting I need to do, but I think we have it at a point where we can fire it up and ride it. So I'm going to try and do that today and take you guys along for the ride. Add this to this video. I'm trying to make it all into one big video, so there'll be liable to be some edits where I splice a lot of things together, where we're working on it, making progress, working on it, making progress, so on and so forth, and then ultimately taking it for a test ride here, which is what we hope to do today. So let's get into it. All right, y'all, full disclosure, I did fire the bike up, get it running, warmed up, so it's going to start pretty quick, or should. Just taking it around the neighborhood. Should be a fun little jaunt thing. The steering's real heavy on it, so it could be a little strange, but anyway, we're gonna give it a ride and see how it does. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, getting it to this point, and we were able to stop the Petcock leak by using an O-ring thing I actually saw on YouTube. That worked really well. Turn the ignition on. Ignition's on. Let's kick it off and go for a quick little ride. Well, there she is. She runs, rides, and leaks oil like a good English bike should. But anyway, it's been a fun project. We got it ready. Like I say, there's still things I need to work on, like the headlight. Making sure we get that running. Work on the side stand so that it doesn't slip. Get that functional. And a few loose ends like that, but other than that, the bike is running and riding. Steering's real heavy on it. Probably just a characteristic of it with these old tires. It actually has the original tires on it, I think. And I'll probably change those out at some point, but for now, you know, just going around the neighborhood, I don't think we broke 30 miles an hour. Bike performs well. It's a beautiful bike. Really enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoyed coming along for the ride and enjoy the video. If you do, you know, give me a thumbs up. I'm not a professional YouTuber, but I do enjoy working on these old bikes and riding them and stuff. So anyway, it's been fun. Thank you.